What's up, guys? Nate Phoenix Racing Customs again. Wow, that seems really loud now that I have this on. So, there we go. Oh, let's see. Looks like it's gonna be another great day. Sorry, I just woke up, so I'm trying to think and shift gears, and it's... Okay, so I got the clear. I'm like an old man right there. The Dave Parker Camaro, I put that clear coat on, and wow, was that a mistake. If you're using Duplicolor, don't use testers, just use Duplicolor. I was able to save what I didn't hit with just Duplicolor. I basically just got the top of the car cleared with the testers, and it wasn't that it was bad, it was just I went for my second coat, and focus. ¿Por qué? Anyways, for whatever reason, like, it softened up the already dry paint, and, yeah. So, I mean, it was not, I didn't give it the 24 hours I said I was going to, but it was dry enough that I could have put clear coat down, because I was handling it, there was no fingerprints on it, you know, so I did a wet sand, and then went and threw on that Testors one coat lacquer, what looked clear, and it ran. So I let all, it was basically just this side that it happened to, so I stopped, because it was like instant right there, so I stopped, let it dry, which actually took not very long. I used a little bit of heat with it, but very carefully, and got it dry. So then I sanded it, wet sanded it down as best I could, and then just found my Duplicolor clear. So I cleared it in Duplicolor, and you can't see the rest of the body because it's ready for its stripe. Unfortunately, I couldn't recreate the stripe anyway that I saw that I thought looked wicked, but I think what I have for stripe is more Famous Racing-esque anyway. So, bam. There you go. It's not much of a stripe, but I think it'll set the car off. So we'll see what we can do with this. You know, I mean, everything that needs to be masked off for prettiness is masked off for prettiness. So, except for there. Cannot forget about that, even though I'm really spraying it like this. Still can't forget, because paint gets everywhere. So, and, you know, I was, of course, everybody knows me. I don't just look at my models. I move them around, I play with them. The only two that I don't really play with are in cases. So maybe I need to do that. and we just need to stick everything in a case. But cases are expensive. They can be. Like the ones I get are like the cheap ones, and they're still $10 a piece. But so anybody knows I mess with them and shit happens. And I think more or less is because I don't like to overly use glue. I use very little glue. I use drops and dabs, and I put toothpicks and apply just enough to get everything to hold on. And I think that's my problem, is I don't use enough glue, but at the same time, I think it makes everything look a lot better when it's not just, you know, not taking the whole tube and just putting everything together and just all over the place. So, I was messing around, actually taking the Camaro body off. So it wasn't a finished build. That's started falling apart this time. Whoa! This car is fighting me. This car does not like me for some reason. I don't know why. So I was taking the body off so I could paint it because I had it mocked up and the wheels fell off. Which is fine, they were sticking out too far anyway. What I'm going to end up having to do is, I made these little spacers, and I didn't need to make the spacers. They were more or less just so the car didn't have such a wicked, camber issue. But they were too wide for the front. It was making it too wide for the front end. So I was literally having to bend, because, I mean, when you pull off the interior pan, the inner fenders go with it with the shock mounts, or strut mounts, whatever you want to call them. And if any of you guys have this kit, you know that this front end is super flimsy. See, I mean, it's going just like that. And so I was having to bend in as far as I can. Well, they don't give you much room to bend, so it was just looking funny. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully, because there's enough glue on this little tiny spacer that it won't come off. So I'm going to have to very carefully saw it off. Same thing with this one. Reapply them to the wheels, which is no problem. They fit pretty well. Reapply the brakes, and then I'm going to have to put the interior pan back in and tape it down, and then for the first however long I'm going to have to glue it in, and then glue it in, let it start to set a little bit, then set my camber and everything like that. So it's not a huge pain in the ass, but it's also not the easiest thing in the world. I also need to go back through and I need to start doing my touch-up detail work, like on my intake where I touched it way too much. It wasn't dry enough and I was messing around with it. And all my little spots that paint didn't get onto, I need to go back through and touch it up. Need to touch up the wheels, add another coat of red to the spokes, and touch up all the where the paint came off when I put the tires on. Yeah, so just going through, touching up now, because as soon as that gets painted, it's onto the interior. Once the interior's done, it's gonna be pretty much done. You know, it's got the little details left, which in the instructions it says don't put the metal tips on when you use the body kit rear end. Well, guess what? I'm using them because you can see right in, because of course I didn't paint it black because I was already planning on using the metal exhaust tips. So, and then I was like, oh, well, I guess I don't have to. Yeah, I do. You can see the tiny little exhaust. So, yeah, no, it's getting the metal exhaust tips on it. So, we'll see how this ends up working out again. So, it's getting ready for paint. I gotta go I gotta go get a couple of things and get ready to paint. So, this is Nate from Famous Racing Customs, signing off. What's up, guys? Nate from Famous Racing Customs. I'm gonna end up putting these onto my computer and smashing the two videos together instead of doing two separate uploads. And so I went down to try to get some black paint, and of course the Walmart is out of the black paint that I need, that I can afford. And so I'm going to end up having to hand stripe the black in on the Camaro. And when I mean hand stripe, I mean just the separating stripe for the two colors. As it goes for the two colors, I really was planning on using that orange, but unfortunately I overthinned it. I did a test spray on a white piece of board that I had, and it was just way too thin. It was it actually looked a lot like, you know, when oil and water mixed together, the paint was separating from the cold lacquer thinner that I was using. So shit, you know, first thought through my head was, what the hell am I gonna do now? So I went looking through my paints, and I have a little bit of that emerald green left. I have a lot of the lime green from the Cranky, the sublime green from the Cranky head car, and I also I was looking at those, and I was like, I was putting the can tops up against the red to see how it looked, and the first thing that popped in my head was Christmas, and that's not what I wanted. So went digging through a little bit more, and I found the Purplicious from the Joker truck. So I just quickly looked at it, ran down, asked my girlfriend. I said, you know, just said, hey, look at this. She looked at it, said, that looks awesome. I said, okay, done. Here's what it looks like so far. Really happy with this stripe. If I was gonna change anything on the stripe, it would be this red stripe going down the middle. But I'm actually really happy with it. Nonetheless, I think it looks really good. Maybe if I would not have made the ends right here so sharp, It could have been a little bit better, and I may be able to fix that with just a touch of the, when I go to stripe this, I may just soften that edge on there. But just looks so like something I would do. And I know not everybody's gonna love it, but Dave, I hope you do. So now I'm off to yes. I can't speak today, apparently. The paint is dry enough, it's touchable. I use my hair dryer to quickly dry it so I can remove the masking tape without chipping either one of the paints. And look how consistent that looks. And there's no clear coat on this purple at all. No clear coat. And just the consistency of shine I'm so happy with. There's one little problem I seen right there. The hood, because I did the I raised up the crowl on it. The hood looks a little dented right there in the light, but hey, what can you do? You know, work with what you got, and that's what I did. So I gotta pull some of that film out. But yeah, I'm super happy with this paint job. So now I get to go through and carefully mask around the edge so I don't do too big of a separating stripe. But that's, I believe, going to be in black. And then I don't know if I'm going to do it in flat black or gloss black. But if I do it in flat black, I'm going to clear this first. And then I go through and sorry, the car is trying to fall off the can and I don't want it to fall because it looks so pretty. So but yeah, that's the Purplicious. Why I don't, this is one thing I don't understand. Well, no, I take that back. I do understand now. So I was going to say, I don't understand why I could use the Duplicolor paint and the Testors paint together, but not the Testors clear. And then I remembered that I didn't want the same thing to happen with the clear coat that happened with the paint. So I went through and I carefully, with everything striped out, with the tape on the car, I carefully wet sanded the areas with 1500 grit. And reprimed and then reshot. So, man, that thing looks just fucking killer. Oh, I'm so excited. So yeah, now it's off to striping the car, clearing the car, and then fixing the wheels, the front wheels on it. And then working on the interior pan and the little touch-up details I have to do. So this thing is just, I do have to do a touch of light sanding, probably 12,000 grit right there, where just a hint of the primer snuck past the tape. So, and it's literally, it's just a hint of primer. So it actually looks a lot worse in the camera than it does in real life. So a little bit of wet sanding, and then I'm going to be very, very careful, and hopefully the clear coat, because I'm using Duplicolor clear coat, doesn't hurt the paint. And that's part of the reason why I'm thinking about doing a flat black stripe, is because it's enamel paint, and I think it's a lacquer clear. I don't know. it doesn't, and I think it'll be okay because, I mean, I don't know, like I said, I don't know what is up with this clear paint that I use, and I think it might be because this is well over a year old, and it's been out in the garage, so it's been heated up, frozen, heated up again, so it may just be bad paint now, bad clear, whereas everything else has been in the house in a controlled environment and shooken every few weeks or whatever. I have a weird thing where I go through with all my paints, and one is to see how much I have left for a future build. The other one is to make sure that everything stays shook up in there. So every couple of weeks I'll go through and I'll shake my paints. I don't know, it may not be doing any good. The paint may still be able to go bad or whatever, but it makes me feel better in my head that I have, you know, my paint shook up. And like I said, this was out in the garage, that clear coat was out in the garage, and I probably got it around the time I did the I probably got it when I got that 65 Chevy pickup, and, well, no, it hasn't been a year. It's been almost a year. It was still cool when I got the 65 Chevy pickup, so, like 60, 70 degree weather, but then it went through the summer at, you know, 90, 100, and in the garage, it gets to be around 10 or 20 degrees hotter in here in the summertime. So it got really, really hot, and then the wintertime it gets to be about 10 degrees, probably about 10 degrees colder than what it is outside, mainly because there's only one window in this garage and it's blocked, and there's no light coming in here at all, so there's no way to get any heat in here. Other than my bullet heater, which is, I don't know where it's at. It's like a big torpedo heater, and it runs off kerosene, and in the wintertime when we got to work on a vehicle, we use that to heat the garage. So heat it up, cool down, heat it up. So, because we did hit, I believe, we hit like in the 80s one week, so which would have made it, you know, between 90 and 100 in the garage. It does get super hot in here in the summertime, so I guess I'll just chalk it up to that. So, but looking at what everything it contains, and both these paints contain the same stuff. I think I have explained this before. I always look at what the paints contain, ever since that the first time I painted this Camaro, and I had just a light dusting of a primer on it, and it ate through the primer and ate into the paint because it contained acetone. So a quick tip to you guys, just quickly turn your can around, okay, like on the Duplicolors, right here, second line, and if it'll zoom, there it goes. So these are what it'll say contains ketones, whatever, blah 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 blah. So you want to stay with those type of paints when you're going to either not prime, because I know some of you guys, people like me who, when I first started to get back into it, I didn't really worry about priming. New builders that don't really know the importance of priming, you know, you get those paints that have acetones in it, and it eats right into the plastic, and you get a shitty paint job, and it sucks all day long. Sucks so bad. So then, like, these testers paints are pretty much made to where you don't have to use primers. And this one uses hydrocarbon propellant, alcohols, petroleum, and ethyl acetate. So, but the testers, one coat lacquers, they work really well with not using any primer. It even tells you on the can, or actually it tells you on the top, right around in this area, it's a 2-stage paint. It uses a base and a clear. It doesn't say anything about primer. So I know, like, some of the new people that are getting into this hobby are they don't really, if they never done real painting before, they don't know the importance of primer and everything like that. So those paints are awesome. When you start getting more experience and stuff like that, you want to use different types of paints because you want a certain color that Testers doesn't make, or you just see a color at a store. A lot of the ones you buy, the Rust-Oleum colors, Krylon, a lot of the Krylon colors, except for the ones for plastics, if you look on them, 90% of them contain acetone in it, which you need a good primer to lay down so it doesn't eat into the plastic. So that's my one tip for everybody, is just look at the back of the paint. It takes 2 seconds, see what it contains. If it doesn't contain acetone, then you can use like what I use. I use a fairly cheap primer. If it does use acetone and you're really just dead set on that color, then you're going to need a primer that matches it. I believe a lot of the Krylon primers themselves they contain whatever I said in the first one, the ketones or whatever. So, but it's also made to accept that paint with acetone in it. So, just, something to keep in your head, nice and fresh. So, anyways, guys, I've been babbling long enough. I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to stripe this car, and I'm going to clear this car, and then I am going to work on the interior pan and all that stuff. So, hopefully, this next week it'll be done. I'll be able to do a final video, be able to contact Dave, and get this sent out to him. Until the next video, guys, Nate Famous Racing Customs, signing off.